Hey guys, it's JStars360 here with my fifth and final Clone Wars vlog. Well, not my final Clone Wars vlog, but my final vlog about the current episodes. And it's about Season 5. I want to get this done before the bonus content hits Netflix along with some Director's Cut episodes. Because, yeah. Let's just get right to it. So, this is Season 5, which is the final season of the Clone Wars before Disney unfortunately canceled the series, which is a real shame. Now, this season is mixed. I mean, overall, I'm happy with this season. It contains some real, it's like season 3. There's some really good stuff in here, and then there's some not so great stuff here. But the not so great stuff isn't as bad as it was in season 5. And what makes this season great is, yeah, sneezing. That's what makes season 5 great. Are the final 2 arcs. The rest are just sort of alright / interesting. The first episode was a strong start to the season. It's basically before we get into the season, let me just explain something for those of you who don't watch the show, or which you should, because I'm going to spoil it, or if you don't remember. Season 5 made the odd choice of having every arc consist entirely of arcs, with each one being 4 episodes. So you have 5 plot lines. So as a result, the season feels really short because it's just like 5 storylines, each 4 episodes long. They made the odd choice, though, to have the first episode of the Darth Maul arc, which airs at the end of Season 5, air at the beginning, because I guess Maul went over so well and people wanted more Darth Maul. And it was a really good episode. Let me see if there's anything. Again, it was a nice start. I was interested to see where it leads, but unfortunately I'd have to wait a while. The first real arc we got was about retaking Alderaan. It was a pretty enjoyable plotline. I more or less liked it. I liked the dilemma of how the Jedi can't be involved. It dealt with the idea of them being peacekeepers, not soldiers, which the movies really didn't address that well. I like how it's addressed here. It's kind of like the Avatar and how they have to maintain peace. Like, the Jedi can't get directly involved. Like, they need to let the clones everyone figure it out for themselves. And I like that. I love how they're not just leading them, swinging their lightsabers. Like, it's a bit more Jedi-ish. Something I think George Lucas kind of missed. Again, if you want more in-depth on this, just please let me know, and I'll be happy to comment on it. But overall, I liked it. There was one thing that surprised me. Ahsoka's love interest, I can't remember his name right now. He was in this episode. It looked like he was going to be killed off, and then the woman got killed off. I'm surprised they did that, because, I don't know if they wrote this arc and then they realized that they were going to get rid of Ahsoka, or if they knew they were going to get rid of Ahsoka, I don't know if they thought they were going to keep Ahsoka around, or if they realized it after writing the arc. But I think if you were going to get rid of Ahsoka this season, I think bringing closure to her relationship with her boyfriend would have been a smart thing to do in this season. And by keeping him alive, getting rid of his love interest, it seemed to be setting up for a possible romance between them. And I'm curious to know if the writers were going to do more of him, and then they just decided to wrap Ahsoka's story up, or if this was the intention. But who knows? Maybe they had plans for her getting him after leaving the Jedi Order, now that she's no longer a Jedi. But unfortunately, we'll never know. Next one is the Younglings. This was a fun plotline. It was enjoyable. We got to see young Ahsoka in this arc, and the voice actor for Beast Boy. It was a cute episode. I did like it. I like the kids. I like the first step. It's basically, if you don't remember, this is the arc where the Younglings get their lightsabers and then they get in danger and have to help Ahsoka. First episode is them finding their crystals. I thought it was a cool episode. I like the location. I love how each has to learn something in order to obtain a crystal. Like, one's obsessed with technology and he needs to break his technology independence. One needs to help others before helping himself. It was a nice episode. Then there was a test of strength where the space pirates invade the Youngling ship, and they need to fight him off. I like the plan to get rid of the space pirates. I especially like the droid character. I thought he was awesome. It was kind of a nice nod to Ollivander. I was a little skeptical about making a droid the one building lightsaber, but I thought they addressed it nicely, and David Tennant did a nice job. I don't watch Doctor Who, but I'm sure Doctor Who fans were really excited when they found out it was David Tennant doing the voice. Next one is the younglings rescuing Ahsoka. I thought it was cool. I like how the kids don't all go all cutesy and kick ass, but instead they use the fact that they're kids to their advantage. The fact that no one would suspect a little kid to be up to something, so they just pretend to be acrobats and kind of pull a Bug's Life where they use the circus act to distract the bad guys. I thought that was kind of cool. And then there's Necessary Bond, which was a fun episode. Lots of fun. Chasing the Dooku captured bit comes back with the Separatists coming to invade the space pirates' home. I'd like to see more of the younglings and Hondo. I thought they bonded nicely. And we got to see the Slave One come back. I'm going to assume eventually they're going to have Boba Fett get it back at some point, but unfortunately, again, Clone Wars got canceled. And then the last one, the next arc was an arc that focused on these droids trying to steal something from the Separatists, which contains an attack plan. I would have been fine with it if it was just one episode, but I feel like they just added like 3 more episodes on that. While fun, I really didn't care for. Again, the first one was fun, except for the pit droid episode, which the pit droid character, I found him really annoying. The Sunny Day in the Void episode I thought was really interesting. It kind of reminded me a bit of when R2 and 3PO first land on Tatooine, and I love the whole nothing thing. Although the pit droid was still annoying, and it kind of reminded me a bit of Waiting for Godot in a way. And then next one, Missing in Action, I would have liked if the planet they land on had nothing, but, you know, whatever. What are you going to do? I like seeing the Republic Commando. And I'm hoping he'll come back, although, again, season got canceled. Don't know. We'll never know. And then the final episode I really didn't care for, outside of the explosion at the end, which was awesome. Then we get into the Darth Maul and Savage arc, which is where the season gets awesome. It is my favorite one. This is one that Star Wars fans will eat up. This is the one where Maul teams up with the Mandalorians to take back Mandalore, and then but he's really just going to betray them and take power for himself. What I love about the season is they took a character that really didn't have much to him and gave him a lot of personality. I think Maul's a great villain. I love how he's not only really good physically, but he's also really intellectually smart. Like, Maul's the strong intellectual one, and Savage is like the heavy. And what I love is they don't forget about Savage. Like, he's still there, he's still a character, but oh my gosh, these two villains are just great. So I just lost power for a moment. That was random. But yeah, so I like this season. This made all the not so interesting Mandalore stories, particularly those in season 3, worth it, because shit finally happens. The Mandalores do actually conquer Mandalore, and I'm trying to remember which one happens in what, but I love Maul's plan. I love how it's not just, let's conquer the planet. No, Maul is smart. He's not he's like, we need to get the people on our side. So they stage all these crimes, which the Mandalorians come in and help. So then the people are like, wow, the Mandalorians aren't so bad. And then when the Mandalorians take over, they have no problem with it. And I also love how Pre Vizsla is smart, and he does realize that Maul's probably going to betray him, so he betrays him first. It reminds me a lot of the episode of Last Airbender at the end of Season 2 when Azula's using the Daily to take over Ba Sing Se, and the leader's like, she's probably going to betray us. But it was still really awesome. I love how Maul's smart when he gets thrown in. He's still smart. He's like, I can't just walk in there and kill him. I can't lead Mandalore. I need someone to lead for him. And then the villain from either season 2 or 3 comes back very cleverly, and he's corrupt and he's evil. So Maul's like, I can bust you out of here and put you in power, but you need to say what I tell you to. And I thought that was really clever. It's kind of like how real history... I think I've read in history where stuff like that's happened, where you put someone in power, but he's just the figurehead. He's not the one with real power. And I also love Maul and how he's smart and how he challenges his plan to challenge Pre-Vizsla to a duel, knowing that he would accept it. And I love the lightsaber fight. It was the first really good lightsaber fight we've had in the series. It was fast-paced, exciting. It wasn't stiff like the others. It didn't cut away. It was like a full-blown, like 3 to 5 minutes of just non-stop fighting, which was only topped by the next episode, which was awesome, which, again, I could not wait to see what happened in the final episode, and it did not disappoint in this arc. So again, I like Maul's plan. I love how he sets it up so Obi-Wan has to come to Mandalore by himself. I like how the Twilight comes back and then they blow it up. And I love the irony of Obi-Wan's punishment. I like how Obi-Wan once again is helpless to watch someone close to him die, and we get to see, what it means to love but not be attached. Obi-Wan loves Satine, but he's not willing to let his emotions get the better of him and just freak out and lash out at Maul. And then there's and also Maul doesn't kill him; he lets him suffer. That makes sense. I mean, he wants him to go through all those years of pain and emotional grief that he went through. That makes sense. So if you're wondering why he didn't just kill him, that's why it totally makes sense. Death would just offer Obi-Wan an easy way out, especially since, the Jedi, it's like, death, they don't fear death. Death is like becoming one with the Force for the Jedi. So then we cut to the highlight, which is Palpatine. Palpatine was awesome in this episode. The voice actor for Palpatine, this is like one of the last things he recorded before he died, and he did a phenomenal job. First off, I like how the first time we saw Palpatine in the flesh and not on like a holocron or something like, and by Palpatine I mean him as the Emperor, and it was awesome. I love how this is the only time it comes out, because if they just had him come out all the time, it wouldn't make him seem that powerful. But the fact that he's not sending like someone to take care of him, the fact that he is literally coming to deal with this himself means that shit is real. Like, there's actually a contender. Like, even the prequels, Palpatine never had to deal with anything himself. He always had someone else to do it for him. So, and I was wondering, like, who's going to stop Maul? So it makes sense that the only person that Palpatine has to come out. Maul is a really potential threat. It makes sense for him to do it. And also we get to hear the Emperor theme, which is awesome. Yeah, but just Palpatine coming to deal with this really emphasizes how big of a threat it is. And we get an awesome lightsaber fight, fast-paced, exciting. I heard originally there was going to be more of this fight, but they had to cut it for time. I did not notice. It was awesome. I love how Maul loses Savage the same way Obi-Wan loses Qui-Gon. I thought that was very fitting. Again, voice actor doing Palpatine, amazing job here. Great way to go out. So, what was I going to say before? And again, I like the way they get rid of Satine and Savage, both in the same episode, interestingly enough. And it feels very natural. Like, it feels like it makes sense for them to go out the way they did. It doesn't feel forced. It doesn't feel like they're trying to, tie it into Revenge of the Sith. It feels natural. It's not like X-Men First Class where it's, feels very rushed and forced. But yeah, awesome fight. Everything in here works. One of the best arcs of the entire series, and a great way for the voice actor doing Palpatine's voice to sort of go out. May he rest in peace. Phenomenal actor. I'm really curious as to what would have happened next had this show been allowed to continue. Like, with Mandalore, was Mandalore going to be retaken? Or what about with Satine's sister? Were they going to do anything with her? I mean, I know we're going to get a comic book that's going to explain what happened to Maul, but oh well. And But yeah, so final arc of this was not as good as Maul's plotline, but it was still really good. Especially the final episode. The first one, it's basically the one. Now, it was still really good and effective, even though I already knew how this arc was going to end. It had been spoiled for me. First one, was fun. I didn't care for it much. It was just them investigating an attack on the Jedi Temple and they find someone. Dave Filoni said wait until you see the end of the arc, and yeah, he was right. The second one really picks up. I mean, it started off a little slow, but then it gets really good. It really picks up halfway through when Ahsoka's suddenly framed for killing the person they caught at the end of the last episode. We get to see Tarkin again. The prison that Ahsoka's held in looks amazing. I love that whole chase sequence where she's being chased by the clones. That was awesome. There was a nice nod to fugitive. And oh my gosh, the scene in the tunnel between Anakin and Ahsoka, that was incredible. Dialogue, voice acting. It was this show just literally became really adult. And it was really surprising. Again, especially considering where the show started out, to see them have something like this was amazing. And the conversation between Anakin and Ahsoka, so many nods to Empire Strikes Back. It worked really well. And then Catch the Jedi, another awesome episode. We get to see a bit of 1313. This was kind of the show's way of teasing us with 1313, which unfortunately is canceled. Love that Ventress is in this episode. I like how she's designed. I like her new life. I like seeing Ventress and Ahsoka team up. It's not the greatest hero-villain team-up I've ever seen. That would go to Aang and Zuko from Last Airbender, along with Zuko and Katara. Aang and Zuko from Last Airbender and Zuko and Katara from Last Airbender. Again, another awesome lightsaber fight in this episode. It's kind of the person she's fighting. First off, it's obvious who it is, but it kind of looked like Revan. Wrong Jedi. I was worried about, and then we come to the final episode, which is my favorite episode of the entire series. Primarily for the last 5 minutes. Now, first off, Palpatine had a different voice actor. It kind of bothers me because Palpatine is a very distinct voice, and I feel like you could have at least gotten an actor who kind of sounded like him. And with this actor, and with Tim Curry, he doesn't sound anything like Palpatine. I mean, when the voice actor for Uncle Iroh died in The Last Airbender, they at least got the person they got to replace him. He didn't sound exactly like Iroh, but he sounded close to him, kind of like him. I mean, it was a bit of an adjustment, but it sounded a bit like him. Here, nothing like him, but that's a nitpick. First off, I like the twist in this episode. I love how it's not just Barriss is the villain. I thought if that was just it would be really weak, because it's pretty obvious she's behind it all. But yeah, Ahsoka leaving the Jedi Order, I love that. I think it makes sense. It would not make sense for Ahsoka to just go back to the Jedi Order very happily. And this video is going along, so I'm going to probably do another video where I go in more in depth, but that moment at the end of the season, first off, great scene. Kind of a tearjerker. Didn't make me cry, though, but it was good. I thought it was a very appropriate way to end the series, But yeah, the scene with Ahsoka, it was very touching, it was very enjoyable, really well written, and it in some ways makes Revenge of the Sith better, but again, this video is going on long enough, so I'm probably going to do a separate video where I go into that. But yeah, overall, this was an awesome arc. Again, it wasn't that great, but again, the last 2 arcs of this season were incredible. If Season 6, if the bonus content is anything like these 2 arcs, I am set. So yeah, Clone Wars, it's my final thoughts. I'm cool with it. I mean, it's a mixed bag show. I wouldn't go as far as say it's one of the best shows I've ever seen, because about half of the show's episodes aren't that great, but there is some really good stuff, and I am glad I decided to watch it, primarily for the really good episodes and arcs made it worth watching. such to the point that I'd be willing to recommend it to people. Like, in some cases, it's better than the Star Wars prequels. And it's proof that just because the show starts crappy does not mean it will be crappy. It could get better. In the Clone Wars case, it did. And hopefully Rebels will do too, and hopefully Season 6 will still have the same quality. The bonus content will be excellent. Hopefully Rebels, which is being done by Dave Filoni, will be excellent. And yeah, so stay tuned. I'll do a bit more in depth as to what I thought about the ending of Clone Wars. And then when the bonus content comes out, I'll review that. So yeah, this is JStars360, and may the Force be with you.